Dear ladies and gentlemen, most, first let me thank the organizers for giving me a chance to give a presentation at this audience. And I was thinking yesterday, it's quite a challenge to talk to you because I am trained as a scientist. Recently more also as a manager, but originally as a scientist. And you are people who are doing something. Your products are touchable. And our products in science are much more abstract. Our main product is knowledge. And knowledge is quite abstract. Now, of course, we also work very hard to close the gap between production of products and production of knowledge. And at least what we can do is to be a part of the chain which leads from the knowledge to the product. So at least to be the part of the chain. And now during the presentation I will try to give you some examples of how we are doing this. So the main topic is electric mobility or student project electric car. This project, from this project can we learn a lot, not only about technology, and that's what I want to say at the end. And the whole project has been made by two institutions. One is National Institute of Chemistry, Ljubljana, where I'm coming from, and the Center of Excellence, Low CO2 Technologies. So now let me first present very briefly both institutions, then I will present the project, and finally I will give some 2 or 3 more examples, very briefly. Well, as I said, it's led by 2 institutions. The first one, National Institute of Chemistry, it's situated in Ljubljana. We have altogether about 300 employees. Among this, it's 130 doctors of science. Then we have almost 100 PhD students, and the annual revenues, it's about 15 million euro. 3/4 of this is a taxpayer money, so to say, and 1/4 comes from the companies. There are 2 main research areas. It's life sciences and material sciences. And we are now just building a new center. It will be opened in 2 weeks. And in this one, we have installed very large equipment, very important infrastructural equipment, scientific equipment, of course. Just 2 weeks ago, a new transmission electron microscope arrived. And this is the largest and most expensive single piece of equipment that has been purchased in Slovenia since the existence. And it's very important for doing nanotechnology, for example. Now, some basic facts about the Center of Excellence for Low Carbon Technologies. This is a legal entity which has been funded by a number of institutions. It's 4 academic institutions, 2 institutes, 2 universities, and quite a number of companies. And the institution was founded 4 years ago. A 10 million grant was granted, 10 million euro from European Community. And with this money, institution has time, 5 years time period, to do something. And after that, it's on its own. The main purpose is, of course, the main purpose is to organize this chain, to work in this chain. So from knowledge to the product. What are the research and development areas in the center? It's chain again. It's going to be a keyword, it seems to me. We want to harvest the energy from the sun and bring it to mobile applications. You can do this in different ways, but I mean, speaking of the carrier of energy, you can use either hydrogen as an energy carrier or batteries. It's one or the other. I just want to emphasize, sometimes people say hydrogen economy. Hydrogen is just a carrier. It's not an energy source. Energy is coming from the sun. Right? Now, of course, we do not cover completely all the chain from the sun to the mobile application, but we are involved in many parts of all this. So we are working in the fields of harvesting of energy and also then in the field of storage of energy, which means by hydrogen or batteries. I will come to this later on. Now, the main project that I want to talk about is the electric mobility for Slovenia. What do we want to do? We want to contribute to the development of not only of an electric car, but of a whole culture which we need to develop in the country in order to be for the technology to become real life. So what are the activities? At the beginning, it's always science and research. We are doing a lot of research in lithium, in the field of lithium batteries, materials for lithium batteries. Then moving from this, we work also on education and awareness raising events. So we want to make people aware of the possibilities of new technologies. And for this reason, we also prepare several demonstration projects. And one of these is a student electric car. Now, here are some examples of the education and the awareness raising activities. We brought a hydrogen bus, so bus which is powered by fuel cell and a tank of hydrogen. Having this bus at the rowing world championship. We organized some conferences on electric mobility, international conferences with exhibitions, several exhibitions and lectures. Then we have demonstration projects. This is a hydrogen filling station, first hydrogen fueling station in Slovenia. It was opened, I think, 2 months ago in Jesenice. And now here is also the student electric car that I'm going to present a bit more in detail now. Now this one, why did we start with this project at all? The purpose was not to develop something which would, by any chance, necessarily be commercially competitive with the others. Not at all. The purpose was to train people, to train young people, not only on a theoretical level, but really learning by doing, as we say. And for this reason, we brought together a group of students from different backgrounds. They were chemists, physicists, electric engineers, from your field as well, also economists, so from business. And so there was a group about 12 people, and their job was to take a conventional Twingo and convert it into an electric one. Now, since in this project many companies were involved, let's say the powertrain was delivered by Electrica, it's called nowadays. Now the batteries, in spite of the fact that we are specialists, in particular in the field of these lithium iron phosphate batteries, at the institute, for this car they have been purchased. But I will tell a little story at the end. Why it's important also for this reason to have knowledge. You cannot purchase the right thing if you don't know what you're purchasing. So it was quite valuable to have this really scientific knowledge about the materials which are here involved. So the total capacity of the batteries was 250 ampere hours, or if you're talking in terms of energy, about 12 kilowatt hours. And the weight was approximately 100 kilograms. And this was sufficient. This is sufficient for about 80 kilometers of drive with this little car. Now I cannot avoid a challenge to explain you a little bit in which respect are these lithium batteries different compared to old-fashioned ones like lead acid or nickel cadmium and so on. You see, in lithium batteries, the lithium is stored in a rock, if you wish. So in a solid state material. And now, if you want to store lithium, if you want to put lithium into such a rock, you need to have a solid state diffusion process. So lithium ion has to diffuse within the crystal lattice of the rock to be stored inside. And this is a very slow process, you can imagine. Now, a typical time which you need for lithium ion to put into such a rock is proportional to the square of the size of the rock. And if you would take lithium iron phosphate, which is a material nowadays used a lot, and you would say the size of the rock is 1 meter, you need almost 4 million years, which is the age of the Earth to charge or discharge. Now, if you reduce the size of this rock to, let's say, 30 micrometers, which is typically size of width of a hair. I'm not the right person to show this, but you can understand. Then you only need 3 years. Then you only need 3 years. And if you reduce the size further to 10 nanometers, you can do it in 10 seconds. And look, this phenomena, this is the main reason why nanotechnology is so successful in the storage of energy, in lithium batteries, if you wish. So you just need to reduce the size due to the equation here. But this is one part of the story. Now, next one is this. If you have such small particles, such small rocks, in which you store energy, then in your battery electrode, you will have a huge amount of these particles. It's almost like number of atoms. It's about from 10 to 10 to 10 to the power of 14 per square centimeter. You see, this is the size of these particles. And this is the real electrode, how it looks like. And if you want to store lithium ions inside, all this needs to be wired. You need to be a part of a network. Otherwise, it doesn't work, of course. And they need to be electronically wired to the current collector. And also, they need to be ionically wired to the electrolyte. And this is now the most difficult part. It's not so difficult to prepare tiny, small particles, but it's very difficult to wire them properly. And this is exactly the job that we are doing quite well at the Institute, on the world level, not the local level. Now, this is a battery pack. And why I'm showing this on the same transparency, you see, storage of energy in lithium batteries reminds, to some extent, a semiconductor devices. Why so? A lithium battery pack is actually a material structured on almost 10 orders of magnitude of scale, of size. It's structured on nano level up to the micro level, microscopic level. The matter. And this is like in a semiconductor devices, like in a computer. You have structures of silicon and silicon dioxide on a nano level, and then, of course, when you assemble chips, which are compared to this on a microscopic level as well. So if you want to store the energy, you need a structuring of matter on many, many different length scales. Yeah. So that much about how it works. And knowing all this, now another thing is interesting. If you want to study batteries, you actually don't need to make an electric car. It's no need. You just go to lab and make synthesis and electrochemical characterization and so on and so on. But if the same people, the same students, if they're also involved in a project making a car, they're much more motivated. And they know much better what are important issues like safety and price and expenses and all this. And they perform much better. they're also happy at the end. No? So now I'm coming to the second phase of the project of this electric Twingo. This one is much more demanding. Now in this second phase, we wanted really to do something which goes to extremes. So we put into the Twingo again very powerful electric engines, 2 electromotors, which have both together power of 120 kilowatts. And we have a more powerful battery pack, which can provide very high current peaks, so for the power needed by the motors. And for this reason, there is a number of phenomena which you can study and you need to solve as a consequence. It's all these heat issues, heat management, battery management, and controlling. It's a lot of challenges which you need to understand and you need to develop in order to have such an extreme, actually, yeah, almost extreme powertrain, very powerful. And from this you learn a lot. No? This one is not entirely finished yet, but it's close to the final phase. And yeah, another purpose of the project was to develop a platform for the people who are producing components. Let's say there is someone saying, I'm able to produce very nice electric engine. I said, please come to us, bring the engine, bring the motor. Where is it? Here behind. We will mount it into the car and we will test it. There's another guy saying, I'm able to construct, to develop electronic differential, algorithm for electronic differential. Nice, please join us. We will do this, and we'll bring it. We'll put it into the car, and you can test it. So that is the purpose. And in this case, this is also interesting as a comment, no, side comment. In the second phase, we have much more cooperation, not with large corporations, but with very small, almost one-band inventors in the country. There's plenty of them. They are very good, but they are they have difficulties to make steps to found a company and really to be competitive. But technically, they are very good. Yeah. Now, besides this, we are successful also in a number of international projects. I will show now 3 examples, just one slide each. One is Eurolis project. This is a next generation of lithium batteries project, which is which has been awarded by European Community in the amount of 3 million €, and our institution is the leading coordinating institution of the project. The goal is to develop lithium sulfur batteries. So batteries which would have double the capacity than the existing one and would be almost half of the price of the existing ones. And we have a number of partners from Europe, from the academy again, also Max Planck Institute, Fraunhofer Institute, and also a number of partners from the industry. Another one is a Honda initiation grant, Europe. This was interesting. We just signed the contract some months ago, and it was not an open call. From Honda headquarters in Japan, they called us last autumn, and they said, please be so kind and write a proposal. What would you like to do in the field of batteries? And if you think it's nice, we will fund it. And I said, okay, it's a company, so we need to do something very specific, something that they will be able to produce. And we wrote 1 page and sent it, and it was rejected. And then they called us once again and said, okay, we were not successful, so it doesn't matter. We'll just write something which we would like to do anyway. So we want to do some research out of the blue sky. We don't care about practical importance. And this one was approved. This one was approved, and so we got the grant. It was just 2 groups in Europe that they have been awarded this year by the grant. It's initiation grant called because it's just for 1 year. After that, they decide whether they will bring a lot of money and have high demands, or they will stop it. Not as they come to us, not to the institute, when we signed the contract, I asked them, please, I do not understand your behavior. You really you're willing to finance something which is pure science. Why is that? Because Slovenian companies, they always want something for tomorrow. Or yesterday, yeah. And the guy told us, well, this is what we need for tomorrow. This we can do by ourselves. We don't need you for that. But we want to know what to do in 10 years. And for this reason, we need you. Okay, very nice. I'm happy with that. But please tell me, how did you pick us up? Why did you choose us? And they said, well, look, this is very simple. We make a screening. And we identify 5 top groups in the world for a certain topic. And then, by interviewing and so on, we choose one. And the only thing which matters is that you are among the best. The only thing that matters, nothing else. So this was quite a nice experience. Now, just the last example, also, it's from the first part of the chain. This deals with sun, harvesting of sun energy. Perhaps, I mean, you're all aware of photovoltaics, most probably. But there is also another field emerging, which is called solar thermal. It's a very robust way of harvesting of solar energy. And it consists of a tower with a boiler on top. There is a water in this boiler. And then you have thousands of mirrors around the tower. And these mirrors are moving according to the sun movement and brought the energy, the sun energy, to the boiler. And in this boiler, then the water evaporates. And the rest is just like in each thermal power plant. So you have a steam turbine and electric generator and so on and so on. So the only difference compared to, now Slovenian people, you are familiar with TEŠ, the only difference is that you don't use coal to produce vapor, but you use sun. It's actually like a fusion power plant, but the reactor is very far away. It's on the sun. Such power plants are existing in the world already nowadays. Also with some significant amount of power, up to 250 kilowatts, for example. Megawatts, not kilowatts, megawatts, of course. No, but they have one problem. And the problem is a coating for the boiler. Of course, now you'll say, well, what's the problem with the coating? We all know it must be black. And that's it. Yeah, okay. It works if it's black. It absorbs all the energy from the sun. But imagine the temperature of this boiler is 500 degrees centigrade or 600 degrees centigrade. And at this temperature, a lot of energy is radiated back to the surrounding. So what we are developing at the Institute is a spectrally selective coatings for the boiler. These are such that they absorb all the energy but reflect very little. And in this way, yeah, in this way, you're increasing the efficiency. And each % makes megawatts. Okay? And so we are developing this for Bright Source company from Israel. And now they are just in phase to test our coatings in real. So in some desert, they have such a Anlagen or such a device, and there they will test it. So this is the again an example where we are able to come from basic knowledge really close to the product. Now, what can we learn from all this? Well, I think it's from conception point of view, no? It's quite important to have interdisciplinary teams. But it took me a long time to understand why. So keyword here is diversity. If you have people with different background, you have a lot of chances to develop a creative, innovative system which will produce new ideas. But there is one condition. It's not sufficient to have different profiles, so diversity. These guys, they need to communicate with each other. If they do not, it's lost. It makes no sense. And it takes a lot of time the students now, but also other people, they learn to do this, to exchange the ideas. Now, another important issue, I think, which we can learn or confirm, is this dual educational system. You know now that the German ministry, von Leyen, that for education, she's traveling around Europe and explaining many countries how this German system works. I mean, it's a system where you have part of time pupils are in schools and part of time they're in companies. I'm not aware whether she comes to Slovenia, but nevertheless, we have seen with the student team that it makes a lot of difference if these students are also doing things by themselves, learning by themselves. So doing by learning, learning by doing. It's a very important issue, and I can just applaud for such a system, no? If it would be introduced also in Slovenia. And just the final one, if you are waiting for a hype, you're too late. So you need to decide what you want to do at the moment where almost no one else is thinking about that. And then you just continue your way. And it's a high probability that you're successful. This happens with the field of lithium batteries, which we started these studies at the Institute 30 years ago. And at that time, if I was talking to my colleagues from the university, I'm a physicist. I didn't dare to tell what I'm studying because they would say, oh, such a nonsense. Battery, what is this? Such a dirty business. But nowadays, it's a very important field. It makes a lot of difference. So, thank you for your attention.